All right. What is up? What's up, everybody? Let's wait for everybody to get in here for a little bit and talk a little bit about the deck that we have in front of us right now. As some people may already be aware, this is the list that I played in last weekend's challenge. It is updated from that event. We placed 12th overall. Pretty decent showing for the deck. I didn't, I tell people I didn't really expect much from this list. I knew it was decent, but for the most part, I just kind of threw it together before the event. I hadn't had much luck on that day. And I was just kind of like messing around. I figured, I would go like 1-2 drop or something like that and then like call it good. But ended up doing a lot better than I expected. And hopefully, the deck will continue to shine. I'm not, like anything, I'm not necessarily like convinced that the deck is like particularly good or anything like that. But I do think like it does have some merits over like traditional red-black mid-range, which is obviously like what this deck is sort of modeled after. I think that, like I said, there are some things that you kind of gain from this list that you don't necessarily, tools that you don't necessarily have access to with red-black. Specifically like the white splash, you have to kind of ask yourself like, what are you splashing white for? And like, is it worth it? The answer is kind of like you're basically splashing white for like a few cards, right? The main one being Vanishing Verse. This card is so good against mono green, for example. So good at dealing with a lot of that, like the trolls. Is good at dealing with. It doesn't answer Karn, obviously, but it's very good at answering. It's very good at answering Cavalier, the troll, old growth troll, that sort of thing. And just basically getting away like their big blockers so they don't have anything in front of their planeswalkers, essentially, and you can sort of deal with them. And they're never able to truly like combo off. Soren seems a little sus. Has he been good? Oh yeah, absolutely. So Soren has definitely impressed, and you'll see Soren in red-black mid-range piles as well. I know Misplaced Ginger has been really high on this card. Every time I played it, it impressed me. So I would say that it definitely belongs in the deck. The one that I'm less sure about is like the Wandering Emperor. But she serves as like removal plus, she can make bodies that can, subsequently crew Sky Sovereign. It's also just nice, clean removal in case you catch your opponent like, attacking one of your other planeswalkers or something. Yeah, what's up, man? It's been good. Yeah, like I was impressed by the list. This is not like I told somebody, this is not really like an original idea. This is something that people used to play. Like I had this list laying around. Of course it wasn't updated, but I had it laying around. Yeah, like if you go to like, so this is where I placed 12th in the challenge. If you go down, like the last list like this was in June. And then it kind of goes down from there, but like you can see like people were playing this deck like pretty steadily, or at least this archetype pretty steadily, like just a couple of months ago, and then it sort of fell off. And I think that my thought process was like, if people are gonna play so much Mardu midrange, so much red-black midrange, then I guess like this is a decent answer for that, because like you're kind of like pre-sideboarded against Mardu, right? Like a lot of the Mardu decks are already bringing in like one Invoke Despair. Of course, we have to count for 80 cards, so like 3, a lot. This is probably like the most asked about card. It was good every time I drew it in my experience in the challenge. It often was just a clean answer to not only Fable, but like a Chandra, in addition to like a Graveyard Trespasser. Answering those 3 cards like was just, you know, I mean, that was just an awesome blowout. And it's just a really good card too, because obviously we're not playing blue, so we don't have the nicety that like the blue decks have, where they like refill their hand over the course of a game. So like we have to gain card advantage through like cards like this, and of course like our planeswalkers, which is another reason why like I feel like Chandra and Sorin are so important, because they generate like virtual card advantage, right? Like Sorin obviously drawing you cards, and then Chandra, you know, virtually drawing you cards. Like I feel like this is really important for this deck to really function. The K command, I saw a lot of Rakdos lists running a Braid, and I was like, well, a Braid's good obviously, but we already have a ton of removal, and I was like, we already play 2 Goblin Dark Dwellers, and I feel like K command is just so much of a better Dark Dwellers target. So K command, not typically that great in Pioneer. However, I think in this deck, you can kind of get away with it a little bit. The updates that I made to the list, I cut the, whatever the 6 mana exile enchantments, artifacts, all that jazz. I cut that because I didn't really feel like it was necessary. The games that I lost, how I lost them, I basically didn't make land drops. And so I wanted to fix that problem. So I added Agadeem's Awakening and Shatter Skull Smashing, because like I don't want to get flooded obviously, but I don't want to miss my land drops at the same time. These 2 spells being relevant in the late game, I feel like is a worthwhile inclusion, just simply due to the fact that like this card could be huge like if drawn in late game. I think like being able to bring back like a Harvester or a Cruxa just to get the trigger, plus Graveyard Trespasser or Bone Crusher Giant and a Kalitas, like that's pretty huge. Like obviously, you know, if you were to go all out, you could technically bring back Goblin Dark Dwellers too, but I don't know. It's just a try, you know. And then I replaced this was going to be one more Vanishing Verse, but I was like, you know, it probably just functioned better as a Fracture. Like, yeah, it says destroy, but the only time I'm bringing this in when it was Vanishing Verse is to deal with like Planeswalkers or some shit anyway. And I like the added text that it can deal with like a Parhelion or which I guess Vanishing Verse could too, but it could deal with like a Witch's Oven or something like that. So one of my losses was to Rakdos Sacrifice, which honestly, like they kind of got a little lucky, but it's whatever. And then yeah, Redain is very good obviously out of the sideboard. It's very good against mono green. It's good against control, and the shield is really good against Rakdos Sacrifice. And then I'm trying Settle the Wreckage. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but we'll see. Do you think Lily will make a splash in Pioneer? And would you play it in a deck like this? Yes and yes. I don't know what number of Lilianas, but I think you could easily make an argument to like cut like a Sky Sovereign, put it in the sideboard, and maybe something else. I'm not very good at speculating on cards, but I think enough people have stated like that Liliana is definitely going to be good. I like Fracture for sure, kills Big Tef and all the artifacts. The verse misses, exactly, yeah. Big Tef was actually a consideration that I was making too. Like when I was including all these Vanishing Verses, my original list included 2 Dreadboards, which I may get back to that at some point. But yeah, Tef is like kind of a worry of mine, because that's one thing that you do lose with running Vanishing Verse over Dreadbore. But there's enough monocolored permanents that I feel like Vanishing Verse just barely ekes out the Dreadbores. But let's give it a shot. That's a preliminary. Let's give it a shot. Like I said, I don't. Sinowan, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I don't know how well it's gonna do, honestly. Like, it is a pretty untuned list, but I think it's good. I mean, it just depends really on like what your matchups are. Like, I feel confident against Rakdos. I feel like you definitely have the upper hand there. I feel like Blue-White Control is pretty good. We beat that in the challenge. It felt pretty good. Any game where this card's like, I won so many games with Blood Baron over the weekend. It was pretty funny. Like the Pro Black was actually like really relevant, especially against like Rakdos Sack. Like they just can't block it. It's so funny. You just keep hitting them with it. They have no way to really deal with it. All right, opponent's on the play. Opponent is on the play. And the cool thing too is like, which I don't know how many people saw the list or whatever. We're gonna keep this one, even though we are missing red, but likelihood is we'll draw a red spell. The cool thing about Yorion, like revealing Yorion, is like it definitely, like your opponent's probably gonna put you on control, like blue-white control. Uh-oh. If we don't draw a red source, this could be bad. I mean, I still think you definitely keep this hand, but like if they're on mono green, this could be pretty bad. Yeah, looks like they're on mono green. So I need to hit a red source like now, basically, to start answering these elves. Yep. Uh-oh. I mean, that is a red source. This is one of those like little concessions that you do make by playing this list. Is that your mana is a little bit more awkward, obviously, right? That definitely are they just okay, they are playing Stompy, yeah. What'd they put in their hand? They put Karn in their hand. Yeah, they put Karn in their hand. Okay. I played in 3 RCQs, Dolan, and qualified. So no more RCQs for me. I qualified with 4-color elementals. The other 2, one of them I missed my winning in for top 8, and the other one I just completely scrubbed out. I played 4-color elementals well, one was 4-color Yorion, the other was 4-color elementals. They were all modern. Alright, so what's my opponent gonna do? They have a Karn and they have 3 elves. Their hand is Karn and 1 unknown. Obviously I wish that they just had 1 card in hand, but at least if I kill one of the elves, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. At least if I kill one of the elves, like, then they can't do as much next turn. But I'm pretty fucked this game. I think this is like a game where, like, if I was on the play, like, things would have been a lot better. But I think I'm kind of screwed here. I also think if it wasn't mono green, like if it was another deck, I think we would have been fine. Nissa. So they get to cast Karn this turn as well. Yeah, we're pretty fucked. I didn't know anybody still plays Nissa. See, like, if we were on the play, we would be playing Invoke Despair this next turn. And I don't know, I feel like things would have just been a lot better. This is Mardu Scam. All the elves, yeah. Meteor Golem, interesting. Okay, well, we're probably not going to win this game at this point. So, no need to show our opponent anything else. I think we just go to the next game. Mono green can still be tough. Like, if they do what the opponent just did, like, they can definitely still get you. But luckily we have some more answers than what Rakdos would have. So we're definitely bringing in a few things we're going to bring in this matchup. So we're definitely going to bring in Fracture. We're definitely going to bring in the Redains. They're very good in this matchup. The other cards that we can bring in Extinction Event here. Those are the 4 that I'm like absolutely 100% sure of. I think a Braid is probably okay to bring in too. Cards that I'm probably going to bring out. Graveyard Trespasser. He's not good in this matchup. Chandra is just okay. So definitely the Fractures. A lot of people don't bring in the discard in this matchup. I'm not quite sure if that's correct or not. I do like the Abrade. I'll probably cut something for Abrade. I'm not just not quite sure what. Maybe Sky Sovereign. I don't think I'm on Settle the Wreckage, because if they're smart, they're not really attacking, right? Yeah, I think Sky Sovereign can come out and just bring in the Abrade. Abrade can answer a couple of things from them. I think I want to run it like this. I don't think there's anything else that I want to take out. So let's just run it back. Okay. I mean, this hand's pretty good. I would keep this for sure. I would just play the Triumph here. I don't see a need to like pick an elf out of their hand or anything like that. Yep. Yes. Let's Thoughtseize them first, see what we're working with. Alright, their hand sucks. So we can take both of these, honestly. Or I could just... I think I'm going to take that, and then I think I'm just going to Fatal Push this. And then Thoughtseize them again next turn. And we should play Death Shadow with all these painful things. Is my Moto freezing up? Is that what's happening? It is. Alright. My Moto has... Okay. Cool. I could play that. But I think I'm just gonna do this. Go down to 11. They didn't draw anything. So their hand is literally nothing now. Okay. I think this is where we can go ahead and put out a Plains. You have to think about it like you definitely want to make sure that you can cast Yorion, because it's easy to get into a situation where like you kind of play your lands in a way that you won't be able to cast Yorion, and then by the time it comes up you can't cast it. So definitely want to watch out for that. Whoops. There we go. If we do end up having to dig for an answer, I can always pitch this Blood Tithe Harvester to something, or just kill something that they put into play. Old Growth Troll, sure. I'm not gonna discard that. I think what I'm gonna do is kill this. Hey, get out. Sorry, my dog and cat are going at it. I think I'm just gonna kill this thing. Hold on, guys, I'm so sorry. All right, sorry about that. Alright, so we kill this, I think. I mean, I suppose I don't have to, right? I'll just put Yorion in my hand. Because it just ramps them if I kill it. I can wait anyway. They do have a lot of mana to work with. This is usually the point in which my opponent top decks the, what is it called? Like the card that with flashback or whatever. Okay. Do we kill this and attack? I guess so. This is only sorcery speed, right? Activate only during your turn. Create a 4/4. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that line. I am gonna turn Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, I think, into a Saga again, I think. If I don't turn it into a Saga, I can make Blood Tithe Harvesters, but I'm just gonna do it like this. And then I don't really need another land drop. Could discard this the following turn, because I am gonna start having to get answers for this impending Karn or Nissa that comes out of my opponent's hand. The worst possible draw they could have for me would be the card that puts them 2 permanents into play. 5 or less. Okay. So you only have 1 card in hand, meaning if we draw a Cruxa, then we're in business. All right. I think I'm actually gonna discard both of those. Okay. Double stomp it is, I guess. Alright, so if they don't top deck something huge, they're definitely dead. Okay, so they got to storm the festival in the graveyard. So they have to storm the festival, and they have to hit like a Cavalier. No, I don't think there's any hits that get them there. Not with no mana open. Yeah, this doesn't get them there. You're dead. You're dead. Carry the 1. You're dead. Alright, as far as anything else to bring in, like, I don't know. I don't think I would bring in like Duress. Maybe like the Wandering Emperor is worse than like a Duress. Not really amazing in this matchup. They're not really doing a ton of like attacking if they're smart. Like they're playing Aos to just combo off on me. And I feel like maybe Duress is just kind of better in that regard, especially on the draw. Like I have to stop their early game essentially, or they're setting up. Like one is fine. This is where I definitely, so I've been debating whether or not I want in 2 extinction events in the sideboard or or extinction events out of the wreckage or whatever. I like having access to like, you know, several cards that do different things, but like this is where I would say that like, we're definitely gonna mulligan this, by the way. This is where I would definitely say like I want 2 extinction events, like in this matchup specifically. Kind of a slow hand. Does sort of worry me a little bit. I would say easiest putback is probably Invoke Despair, just because it's our highest cost card. Even though it does do a lot in this matchup. Yeah, we'll put back the Invoke Despair. Okay. You also have to, like, when you're playing this deck, that was a good draw. When you're playing this deck, you also have to keep in mind how many, like, black sources you have in play. If you don't have a lot of black sources, then you may not be able to cast Invoke Despair on turn 5, so just keep that in mind. I'm just debating if I want to play Blightstep Pathway and Thoughtseize first. Like, my opponent can either play Kiora or Old Growth Troll next turn. They only have 4 cards in hand. I feel like it's more worth it to Thoughtseize them and take away like their turn 3 or turn 2 play. I also may draw an untapped red source next turn. What the fuck? Forgot about that card. So they're going to be looking for another land with Oath of Nissa, I think. But they could also hit like a Planeswalker or some shit. And it also allows them to cast Nicol Bolas. So I'm going to take Oath. They draw another 2-drop. Is that why they did that? Okay. Mana's a little awkward this game. So this taps for 3, 4, 5. You're not netting mana that way, right? I mean, oh my fucking god, dude, that's so funny. Imagine that. And they put a Storm the Vault in the graveyard. Sheesh. That's so funny, dude. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can go 6, 7, 8, 9. They can't currently cast Storm the Vault. And they can't cast Nicol Bolas. Can they just not count? Like, flashback is 10, right? I'm not tripping. Yeah, it's 10. I don't know what they're tanking about. It's you attack and pass. Are they thinking about like sacrificing a Wolf Hollow Haven? That's the only thing I could possibly like imagine they would be thinking about. And the answer is obviously no, because your best play is to storm the festival in the upcoming turns. I really want to draw a way to get rid of this, because if I can get rid of this, then that takes away a lot of their devotion, and allows me to what do you call it? Allows me to kind of take control of this game, because they're not going to whiff on draws forever. So I don't want to Sorin plus, because they're going to just kill Sorin. I could Sorin minus, and then next turn Sorin, or maybe Cruxa plus Fable. Yeah, that might be my best move. This definitely feels like a tough matchup still. Even with the extra tools against mono green, if you don't draw the spells to exile the permanents, like, it is still kind of rough. It's certainly not a good matchup by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like it's a lot more manageable with this build as opposed to like Rakdos, where I feel like Rakdos versus green, like, I feel like you're kind of a dog in that matchup. Like, I don't know. That's just my personal take on it. Maybe someone with like a little bit more experience in the matchup would, you know, have like better insight on it. Okay, so now our opponent, let's see. I need a way to kill this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5. So I can go 5 mana, 6 mana, 7, 8, 9. So they're 1 mana short of doing that. Let's look at the top card. Okay. Yes, we're gonna put it in our hand. At least I can make them discard the Nicol Bolas. Doesn't really do a whole lot for me, but at least it'll be out of their hand. And then next turn I can start discarding some of these lands. The problem is, like, I basically have to hope that they don't draw anything like relevant next turn. They will have a window to play something relevant. If they storm the festival on me, oh fuck! I didn't mean to cast that. I meant to cast my fucking Fable. Great, I'm an idiot. It might not even matter. Nissa, no. Okay. I think they probably go and get... Yeah, and this is my mistake. I think they go and get Sky Sovereign here, which, you know, they would have been able to kill my Fable of the Mirror Breaker token anyway, but at the very least, I would have been able to discard 2 cards and draw an answer for this Cavalier. So, it's on me. I clicked the wrong spell. I definitely meant to click Fable, not the thing. Oh, we drew a Vanishing Verse. That's pretty good. That's pretty much exactly what I was looking for. We can't exile Karn, but I can exile the Cavalier, so that's good. And that'll get some of their devotion off the table. It puts them further away from casting the Storm the Festival. I don't know what creatures they play in their side. I mean, I know they play the Meteor Golem. Oh god. So that was probably their best draw. So what do they untap? They untap Nykthos, right? And they got Pestilent Cauldron back, which turn up to 2 creatures lands. I feel like that's wrong unless I'm missing something. They get back Kiora, but they can't cast it, right? Yeah, they fucked up. That's fine. They're probably still gonna win, but they definitely fucked up. Probably discard both of these. Well, at least we can make them discard their Pestilent Cauldron that they for some reason decided to put in their hand. They can flashback Storm the Festival this turn, so they're probably not gonna like fuck up again. But we'll see. Yep. Mono green is probably the best deck in Pioneer, Dolan. If I had to say, I would say it would, in order of best to worst, at least in the tier 1 category, I would say it's Mono Green is the best. I think Rakdos is the second best. And I think that Blue White Control and Phoenix are kind of on equal terms as far as like the third best deck in the format. That being said, any of those 4 decks I feel like can win a huge event on any given weekend. All right, I'm not gonna make you guys sit through and watch this. Our opponent had lethal. Like I don't know what they're doing. They're taking forever figuring it out. But yeah, I think that's how it goes. Because like as you saw, despite us like kind of taking control of like the game, our opponent just was like. Really, the problem is like Nykthos. I think that's the biggest problem. Like being able to cast Storm the Festival for 10 on like whatever turn that was, like is kind of crazy. So I would say if they're gonna get rid of a card, it would probably have to be Nykthos. That makes the deck just unplayable, basically. It's the only card in the deck that is really enabling everything. It's like holding everything together. Because like Storm the Festival is crazy, but it's only good because they can fucking cast it like twice in a turn, you know? And then like proceed to just net mana on everything that they do because of Nykthos. Like it's all tied together by Nykthos. Hand's great, deck's great. Keep this. Alright, looks like blue-white control. Definitely want to hit our land drops here. Although, it may be worth considering actually discard, or excuse me, cycling this. Yeah, I'm not going to play the Triome. I actually might end up cycling it. Okay, do we want to play around Censor? Kind of not. I mean, if they censor me, it's like sort of whatever. Yeah. Okay. Actually gonna hardcast the Bone Crusher Giant. They didn't censor me last turn. Would assume they would, if they, I mean, they may have drawn it. Okay. Either they drew it or they just didn't want to play it on the Blood Tithe Harvester. But my thought process was if I play this and they're like let it resolve and then next turn they Supreme Verdict, I think that's fine. Have you seen the mono green deck with the black splash? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I keep in touch with Corey a lot, and I've seen it. I've played it. I didn't play it well, but it looks pretty gas. I think it's pretty good. I don't know if it's better than the regular like versions of the deck, but it seems good. Are they just gonna cycle and block? That's fine. This Agamimes actually might be like, or Agadeems might actually be really good. Yeah, I'm kind of thrilled about this actually, because it means I get to resolve a Sorin. So like, blue-white control is a really good deck, but you have to be careful about how you play it. Like you kind of just have to like take that damage and like hold up a either a censor or an absorb there. Letting black-red control, or sorry, black-red mid-range resolve a planeswalker there is like kind of like a bad move. Sure, I'll put that in my hand. I'll take a damage and put that in my hand. So it's kind of like if they have a Wandering Emperor, they minus on this, and I'm fine with it. I just kill it. Okay. In that case, I think I'm just going to pass. I don't think I have to put Yorion in my hand just yet. I can just hold up K Command and Bone Crusher Giant. Are they deciding between Memory Deluge and the Planeswalker? Or are they just going to march? I think they're having like conflicted ideas about what they want to do. I think I have several things they can do this turn. I do think they have... I'm not sure if they have one of the Planeswalkers or not, but certainly feels like they have something else to do that turn. I don't know. Cycle Sensor, sure. Sorin is so good in these control matchups. Okay, so they foretold one of the board wipes. So they're probably playing like Harry 13's list or something like that. Get Blood Tithe Harvester and make them discard a card. Okay, they discarded a Verdict, which makes sense because they suspended that other what do you call it? It's like something of the Scalds or whatever. Somebody can point it out to me. Oh boy, that's a good draw. I'll take 5 for it, but so I guess I just let them board wipe me. I probably should have played the Bone Crusher Giant first, but it's fine. Because if they tap out for the board wipe, then we just invoke Despair. This game feels over. Especially because they missed a land drop, too. Yeah, so they're gonna do the board wipe. Yep. And then we do this. Oh, okay. They got a Dovin's Veto. All right. I don't want to play this because it could become very useful pretty soon. So I think I'm just going to minus here. And then I guess I'll pitch a Fatal Push. Maybe draw another land. Nope. Okay. This is great because like this is another instance where that one card is very, very useful if we draw it. Because I had this come up too previously. This is a good example of why like Vanishing Verse is really good because we have a way to deal with that. We also could invoke Despair on it if we draw another one. Okay. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand. Feel pretty safe here. So just double Graveyard's Trespasser on them, basically. Hold up the Fatal Push. Sure. Okay. Gonna Portable Hold the Vampire, I'm assuming. Yep. They only have 1 card in hand. Here's Vanishing Verse. So we have 7 mana to play with. Kind of feel like just attacking Teferi here. Doesn't really matter what we exile. Okay, Teferi goes down to 2. I'll tick up here. Okay, put it in my hand. Play it. Play this. We'll put Yorion in hand. And then on their upkeep, I will Vanishing Burst the Shark Typhoon. Okay. They're hanging on by a thread, but I don't really see a world in which they come back and win this. I mean, it would have to be a pretty good sequence of draws on their behalf. Just another Teferi. Okay. Another 1 card in hand situation. No, but they get to untap 4 lands. That's pretty good. Can bring back Bone Crusher Giant and Blood Tithe Harvester. Ah, shit. Yeah, that's fine. Kind of fucked up a little bit there, I guess. So we go Blood Tithe Harvester plus Bone Crusher. Can probably just go ahead and pitch this to token now. Okay. Go through this steal again. I suppose I could try to dig for another Fatal Push, especially if they... Oh, that's fucking annoying. Yep. Alright. They have hit some pretty good sequence of draws. They can't exile one of them, so they can just go like block exile, I guess. Or I mean, sorry, block and then take the damage. Oh, I see. That makes more sense. All right. Hall the Storm Giants. One card in hand. I feel like I need a Cruxa to really like settle this game. And they get to kill Soren, which makes sense. And they drew Portable Hole. All right. Definitely getting a little flooded over here. I don't even know. I guess I just play Yorion. Yorion's gonna be on blocking duty for a little bit until I can figure out a way to somehow salvage this game. I don't know. I feel like we just kind of hit too many lands at the end there in inopportune times. Like, definitely needed that Vanishing Verse to resolve, but they drew the Veto, like the last card in their hand. It was just, I don't know. Teferi is rough. If you can't deal with Teferi, it's like it does kind of get out of hand, which is why I initially was running 2 Dreadbores, but can't really like always prepare for every scenario. You just kind of have to play it by ear when you're working on a deck. Not necessarily convinced we have a bad matchup here. I think just like a lot of our dead cards have to come out. And that's kind of where I'm at post board. Like, we're definitely cutting the fatal pushes. That's like one of the first things that needs to go. And then from there, we can bring in like the go blanks. Can bring in the duress. You know, some of the more grindier cards. We can bring in the fracture, redains, all that jazz.
Look at the sweet prize I won.
Celine Games, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So I have 2 cards in hand. You gonna attack with the team here, or are they gonna just attack with these 2? If it shows these 2, I'm definitely interested in double blocking. I'm not at a point to where I can play around like a 2-for-1. There's a Chandra. A little late. Do we need a plus? I'm taking exact lethal next turn. As it stands. I mean, I can block the samurai token, but I'm assuming it would have first strike. Well, no, because... yeah. I'm gonna plus. I think I have to get lucky at this point anyway. Yeah. It's another land. I know I can draw a card off Castle Lochthane, but it's like, what's the fucking point at this juncture in the game? Alright, so we're definitely bringing in Ordain, Go Blanks, Fracture, other cards to bring in. Yeah, Ordain. And then cards we can cut. I like Sky Sovereign in this matchup. I'm trying to think, like, Kalitas isn't a card that I necessarily... I think Kalitas is just like a little too slow in this matchup, so I think we probably cut him. And everything else seems pretty good. Maybe some argument for bringing in Blood Baron. He does have pro white. I think I did actually when I played against blue-white control in the Swiss, but it's a little slow. And they can still block it with their shark tokens, so I'm not 100% sure if I should bring it in. The cool thing is they can't tuck it away with Teferi and stuff. But I think I'm good with this. This is a good setup here. Alright, this hand's great. I'll be honest, I thought we had that game in the bag, but it is what it is. Sometimes they just stabilize. That's what blue-white control does. You can play Godless Shrine here. And next turn we can play a Fable. Probably end up playing Needle Verge Pathway. Up the other side. So we do have double white. And if they counter the Fable, I'm like kind of okay with it because we can just play Fable on our following turn. Yeah, and it caught the veto too, which is even better. I want to play around sensor here. Sure. They fail to ruin me, it's fine. Okay, so they foretell the board wipe. Alright, do not Dovin's veto me. Please. You have got to be kidding me. Oh, that's the spell they foretold. Okay. I mean, pretty good, right? Pretty good. I didn't expect that. I did not see that coming. I thought it was the board wipe that they foretold. Yeah, that's pretty gas. Sucks because I definitely want to play that, but I don't think I can really afford to. I need to get this Teferi off the table. Oh, wait. What? What? What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Why did it do that? Whatever. God damn, I fucking hate Moto so much, dude. Like, that was so stupid. Yeah, thank you, Moto. I appreciate it. God damn, Moto, dude. What the fuck? Like, why would it do that? I don't understand. Why would it do that? Why would it be like, no, you definitely want to play this for one. Trust me. Like, believe you me, it's way better if you give your opponent another turn with Teferi and just put it to one. Like, trust me on this one, bro. Makes sense. Thank you, Moto. I appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Well, definitely not doing as well tonight as we did in the challenge. I think if I lose another game, I'm definitely calling it good on this one for now. But I will say, like, if we're learning anything though, Dreadbore would have definitely been better than Shatter Skull Smashing there. Because not only did I have to attack the Teferi, but I had to cast Shatter Skull Smashing on the Teferi. So definitely, but I mean, the Agadeem's Awakening looked cool. It was looking pretty good there. I got BTFO'd by that counterspell though that they had. That saw it coming. I think that's some like new tech. Somebody played it in like the Mana Traders series, and like I'm sure people are. I think it was Harry 13, and I think people are copying that list a lot. All right, show me the jank. Ready to play against the jank. This one's going on back into the deck. My concern was that I didn't want to miss land drops. I think that was like one of my biggest concerns, because the deck, like, one of the ways it can get you is like, obviously you have worse variants than the red-black mid-range deck. So like you do have to watch out for missing land drops. Look at on a 5. Okay. Keep this. You can put like probably Invoke Despair at the bottom, and I guess Shatter Skull Smashing. At least we're on the draw. Okay, it's Boros Heroic maybe. I don't know any other decks that really play what's it called? Sacred Foundry like that. If it's Boros Heroic, it's a very good map. Oh, never mind. Oh, it's Jeskai Ascendancy.
Look at the sweet prize I won.
Oh shit. What's up, Marshall? How's it going, buddy? So it's Jeskai Ascendancy. This is gonna be interesting. The only reason why I know this is because I've actually been looking at Ascendancy myself. Looks pretty tight, actually. Do I feel like I need Yorion? To justify being Mardu, yes. I don't think there's like any other real reason to be Mardu. Like, Like, I think if you're not playing Yorion, you should just play red black. Yeah, man, it's good to see you too. I think you should just play red black if you're not playing Yorion. Which, in all honesty, you should probably just play red black anyway. But that's neither here or there. All right, so they got a fiery impulse. That's fine. These Jeskai Ascendancy lists have been becoming like more mid-rangey lately, which is interesting. Just gonna play the Cruxa here, make them discard a card. They don't play any creatures, so there's no real reason to have this Fatal Push. They do sometimes play, what's the druid called that it's hexproof as long as it's untapped? I can't remember. It's a mana dork. They play like 2 of those sometimes. When I say I've been looking at Jeskai Ascendancy, I mean I've really been looking at Jeskai Ascendancy because I've been wanting to try it again. Yeah, I'll play the Haunted Ridge. I'm probably going to end up pitching this Fatal Push here. Vanishing Verse is also not at a premium in this matchup. Oh shit.
At the sweet prize I won.
Oh shit. Marshall gifting all the fucking subs, dude. Shout out to Marshall, aka Burrito Slayer. I appreciate it, man. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. And for you fucking freeloaders out there, you better be lucky. You got some cool ass people coming in here gifting subs. But nah, dude, I really appreciate it. And thank you guys. I'm just kidding. You're not freeloaders. I really appreciate y'all watching. Obviously, like, that goes for anybody. Like, you guys taking the time to come out and watch and stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm probably going to get got here. But, oh well. Vanishing Verse looks embarrassing in this matchup. They do sometimes bring in... Monastery Mentor. That is a card that they play sometimes. But this feels, I mean, I don't know. We're not favored game 1, that's for sure. I think we could probably bring in like Duress. They don't really play any spells that cost 4 or more except for their delve spells. Probably like, definitely Fracture, Go Blanks, and I don't know, maybe leave in something for the old Monastery Mentor. God, this deck is so hot. I hate my opponent for making me want to play it. A lot of my cards are dead here too. That's one of the reasons why, like, I have been thinking about playing Jeskai Ascendancy, is because, like, I mean, like, unless your Rakdos opponent draws like Thoughtseize, like multiple Thoughtseizes, it's pretty good in the matchup. It's also very good against green because they don't really have a way to stop you. So, like, once you go off, like, they're not going to interrupt you. It's pretty bad against blue-white control, which isn't seeing a ton of play right now, even though we just played against it. And post-board, it gets kind of bad against Phoenix. Basically, like, any deck that, like, runs counter magic can kind of give you some problems, because you have to resolve Jeskai Ascendancy. You don't have access to cards like, you know, Veil of Summer, but you do have access to things like Mystical Dispute, which this deck plays like 3 of in the post-board. Okay, I'm just gonna concede for time because, like, I mean, I don't know. I'll wait until they play a Sylvan Awakening, I guess. If they play Sylvan Awakening, there's no way they can miss. I played Red Black at a local RCQ, got 10th. My first match was literally my first game of Pioneer. Such a fun format. I like Pioneer. It's like, it's definitely better than Standard for me. It's basically like my new Standard, but it's not my favorite. Like, I'm still really enjoying Modern and Legacy a lot. I'm looking forward to, hopefully I can play Legacy next month in the and the no, it's not an NRG. It's fuck man, what's the event coming up? And I think it's in okay, there's Sylvan Awakening. We can concede now. There's an event coming up that's Legacy, and I definitely want to play in it. And I'll be doing that. I think I'm going to play 8 cast like I normally do. But we'll see. But yeah, Modern's been fun for me too. I don't know. I know it's not really like in a good place for a lot of people, but it feels fun to me. I'm basically going to cut like everything that doesn't make sense. Invoke Despair is surprisingly relevant this match. I'll keep in Wandering Emperor as, I guess, well, Chandra answers Monastery Mentor, so that's cool. I definitely want to bring in Hearse. Vanishing Verse is kind of bad. Honestly, I just have a lot of really bad cards in my deck. The Vanishing Verse hits like virtually nothing out of their deck. So I have to think of something else to bring in. Like, this is kind of laughable how they've sort of caught me with my pants down here. Legacy is the go, but I think Pioneer be taking Modern's place for me. Yeah, that's understandable. Modern has been in a weird spot ever since Modern Horizons 2, right? Like, a lot of people have not been happy with the all the free spells, specifically like the elementals, and I can understand that. I've kind of embraced it at this point, but like, it is sort of agonizing to play elementals in paper. In fact, the last time I played elementals in paper was a team event, and it was Baltimore, and we were doing well until like the last few rounds. We kind of fell off. It really came down to like some really close matches, and I like just my deck was like thrashed after like 3 matches of shuffling. And I just said, you know what, I gotta take a break from this deck in paper. Like, it's just too much to manage. Online I can play it just fine because there's not the shuffling factor, but like in paper it's just, I'm trying to play so fast and I'm doing so many shortcuts, and I'm like, I got my opponents like trying to rush me, and or if I'm not getting rushed, it's me trying to rush my opponents because they're taking too long, and it's like, it's just a fucking grind, man. So it's tough for me to say like that I want to play it again anytime soon. I guess I could bring in Settle, right? That kind of fucks them up. It kind of laughably like stops their combo. You know what? I see Duress and I'm keeping it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I picked up Grinding Station because it's kind of been seeing a resurgence, and I really enjoy playing that deck. I don't hate Modern as a whole. I just like playing elementals in paper. I gotta take a break, but Pioneer's fun. I really love Legacy right now, even though like Delver is like dominating the format. I think it's been pretty fun. There's a Redain. I mean, I guess I could just play Duress this turn and then see what to do from there. Okay, so they have like 3 Sylvan Caryatids. I guess I take the Consider because it's Delve fodder. And then like next turn we'll play the Redain. Invoke Despair is cool because it makes them sacrifice one of their Caryatids too. They're gonna be playing a Caryatid this turn for sure. Yep. So 2 ops, 2 Caryatids, and 1 unknown. I do think I did a good job of, if I could pat myself on the back a little bit, I think I did a good job of fixing this deck's mana base, because I totally overhauled the deck's mana base. That deck seems fun. Which one? Oh, the Breach deck. Yeah. It is fun. It's super fun. I played it in a 5K, and I was so like, I was so out of date with the deck. Like, I hadn't played it in so long that like, I won round 1 quite easily. Round 2, I lost a really close one. And like round 3, game 1 I took it from my opponent, and then game 2 I was like, okay, I think I have the combo here. So like I started going off, and like I realized that I didn't have like a key card in my graveyard, and I was like, fuck. So like I could have just waited a turn and I would have won, but instead I fucked up, and I realized that I was just like rushing myself for like no apparent reason. So yeah. Drawing the Fable was pretty cool, so I think now I just play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Discard nothing, probably. Actually, we would probably discard Cruxa. Yeah, it requires like a good bit of like you definitely have to get reps with the deck. I used to play the deck all the time back when Arkham's Astrolabe and Oko were legal. And Arkham's Astrolabe made that deck ridiculous because when you'd play Urza, it would just get real nutty. But I think it's good now just because like it has a decent elementals matchup, and it can just kind of go off like out of nowhere, kind of like our opponent is going off right now. So yeah, we'll just let them do their thing. They drew Jeskai Ascendancy. If they don't, oh, okay, they're just passing. That's cool. We can invoke Despair. Discard Cruxa here. Drew another Cruxa. All right. I don't want to let them like kill my guy or whatever. Or I would like to not let them kill my guy. Hopefully they don't counter this. I don't know why you would bring in counter magic against the black-red deck. That's very incorrect, but they, who knows, man, they might. They got a Dovin's veto? Is that what's going on? Okay. They kept a card on top, which is interesting. I don't know what are they typing to me? Sometimes people... They were wondering why I brought in Redain, and we talked about it. Like it's a justifiable question. Like they're wondering like, why did you bring that in? It's understandable. My answer is I had too many dead cards, and I mean, realistically speaking, it's possible that they play Escape the Wilds as like a one of, and usually they play 4 dig through times or 4 treasure cruises. So that's why I brought it in. I am very well aware that Jeskai Ascendancy is the thing. I used to play it a lot before Expressive Iteration was banned. So I have a good amount of knowledge on it. So, I could attack here and Thoughtseize them this turn. It may be against my better judgment, but I don't know. Do I want to lose my Goblin Shaman? I think so. I'm just so scared that they drew another Jeskai Ascendancy. Okay, they didn't block anyway. That's good. The fake. Ha! I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew they drew another one. I fucking soul read them. Read their soul. I don't know what they're saying in chat. They're saying some stuff, but I don't have time to really just fucking read their dissertation. I love Invoke Despair, dude. It has been consistently good every single fucking time I have played it. What are they doing? Typically you don't... Oh, they're digging through time. That makes sense. That makes sense. Typically you don't bring in counter magic against Thoughtseize based decks. That goes for like any format. But I suppose it does depend on what deck you're playing. Like there may be an instance in which this deck would bring in like Spell Pierce against Black Red. Like I can understand that. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with it. Especially considering like there might be some things that are just like strictly worse in the matchup, and you do expect some level of interaction. So we'll see what they do here. Alright, so they sacrifice one of their creatures. We drew a Castle Lockbane. And next turn we get to Cruxa and go blank, so that should just be the nail in the coffin. Sure. Alright, discarded a combo piece. That's a good sign. Typically they play anywhere between 3 and 4 Sylvan Awakenings. Most lists only play 3. Is this a Omnath? Looks like Omnath. Nope. Escape the Wilds? Yep. Yeah, see? You laughed at my Redain. That's a pretty pitiful Escape the Wilds, though. I mean, they did hit Jeskai Ascendancy, so that's good for them. That's right, I have to do this post-combat. Okay. Alright, yeah, I mean, I didn't really see anything that would change the way I sideboard. They pretty much had... I guess, like, Extinction Event's not bad, right? If they play, like, a ton of... If they play a ton of, Sylvan Caryatids plus the Blossoming Druid or whatever the fuck it's called... and it can also get rid of, if they do play Monastery Mentor, we can Extinction Event for Odd. So I don't necessarily know how to sideboard with Jeskai Ascendancy, I'll be honest, but I'm not sure what matchups in which they bring in like Monastery Mentor. I don't know if it's all matchups, some matchups. I know it's a good alternate win con, because you know your opponent's going to bring in interaction for your enchantment and stuff. It's really the biggest thing. I've seen one list today, actually, that plays a Monastery Mentor in the main. Don't know how I feel about that one, but I guess it's a thing. Seems a little sketch. I mean, it does have the unlicensed hearse, which will prevent them from doing delve stuff. Doesn't have any hand hate, which is could potentially be bad. Kalidas is not necessarily my favorite card in this matchup. I'll keep it. I'll keep it only because of Fable, but I am a little worried about just turn 3 Ascendancy. Okay, now it's looking like that's what's gonna happen to me. They might just have the combo. Like next turn they go Awakening. Oh, that was a good draw. Oh man, this is kind of tough. I like if they play another Ascendancy, they get to like really fucking go off. So I think it's correct for me to just pitch it and then just say go. Even though Escape the Wilds is like a damn good card for them to have too. I do have to hit land drops here. I mean, this would be bad if I started missing them. Okay. Just play Fable here. I mean, guaranteed my next play is going to be Invoke Despair. But at least Fable ensures that regardless of if I hit a land drop or not, I'll have the mana to do it. So I think that's correct. Alright, is this the turn that they go Sulfur Falls plus Escape the Wilds? Probably, right? Because they're going to try to set up their combo. Okay. So discard Aspara's Headquarters. They have 3 unknowns in their hand. They can play an extra land for turn. Are they forgetting about the extra land for turn part? They are. So like here's the thing. It's kind of hard to remember, but you can play an additional land for turn off of this. So they're like kind of fucking up by not doing that. Because they would have been able to consider, well, I guess they wouldn't have because those lands don't tap for blue, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I do think I'm going to discard the extra Unlicensed Hearse and maybe Kalidas. Yeah, probably Kalidas. He's just not a good thing to pressure my opponent with right now. They do get to play another Jeskai Ascendancy, which kind of fucking sucks, but it is what it is. I'm hoping that I hit, like, Thoughtseize or something, take a look at their hand. So we're going to draw 2 cards off of this. Alright, get rid of your enchantment. Oh, we did draw Thoughtseize. That's good. All right, so let's take a look at what's in their hand. All right, dig through time, monastery, mentor. So we'll just take the mentor. 3, 4, 5, 6. Just gonna do this now. Her's doing some work. So again, they do have another ascendancy, so I'm gonna have to. I'm still in a tough spot. This game is by no stretch close to being over. Thing is, if they had played an extra land last turn, they would probably be able to dig through time this turn, I think. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. No, never mind. Strategic planning doesn't go that deep. I wonder if they... Nope, they're just pitching a triumph. They're still holding on to hope that they can dig through time at some point. They are planning strategically. So really what they're looking for is a Sylvan Awakening, and then they can sort of go off. They don't have like a huge surplus of cards or anything like that, but they're pretty close. Especially like with this Consider, they can fix up their hand a little bit more. I do think at some point they need to just get rid of this dig through time. It's not worth hanging on to. And then I think for us, like the best possible draw would probably be go blank, maybe. Because I mean, I guess it would be another Invoke Despair, but that would be super lucky. Yep. I have no responses. Discard Sacred Foundry. Yeah, this thing fills up their library so fast. I think I'm probably fucked. So like, what can I do? I can Sorin plus hope to hit something like a Thoughtseize. Maybe a Fracture. Fracture would be good. I guess like Chandra does the same thing, but also like, whoops, no, not that. Chandra kind of does the same thing. Sorin puts it in my hand if I miss though, so it digs me deeper regardless. Chandra just does more damage. Yeah, I think Chandra is actually the correct play. Okay. Give me a Fracture. Damn it. Let's say no, and then, yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations, like, if you got it, you got it, which they almost 100% do, but we'll see. Just doing this now so I can just yield. So all they have to do is like 3-5, play the Glacial Fortress. Yeah, so they like dig through time here. They're basically just looking for, or they just have Sylvan Awakening. That works too. Oh, boys and girls, we got fucking smashed. Jesus Christ. We were never, ever gonna draw an answer for that fucking Jeskai Ascendancy. Even though we play a lot of them. I don't know, guys. It's just wasn't in the cards tonight. I don't know what the deal, Driop. I don't know what the deal was, but we got fucked. Like, they didn't even call afterwards. Yeah, that was rough, dude. I don't know, man. I do not know. I think, like, I definitely think I want the Dreadbores back in the deck. Like, after losing to Teferi in that fashion, I certainly think that Dreadbore needs to be in the deck. I'm telling you, like, Wandering Emperor is starting to piss me off. Like, I almost just want to be white for the fucking Vanishing Verses. Like, this card is just not as good in our deck as it is in other decks. Like, I think this card needs to be like Dreadbores. And maybe we can cut the Shatter Skull Smashing. I liked Agadeem's Awakening, surprisingly. That's the one I wasn't really certain about. I think honestly it's probably better than Shatter Skull Smashing here, because you just have so many targets, so many good targets, and it's like good in those grindy games. But yeah, if I had to change anything, I'd probably just cut like the Shatter Skull Smashing and probably just a Wandering Emperor for like 2 Dreadbores. So like, there's no space in Dreadbore. So like something like this. Dreadbores back in there. And yeah, just cut these cards entirely. Yeah. And then I think I'm back on the like double extinction event train. I think it took me a little while to get there, but the card's just so good. There it is. I don't like that version. Yeah, something like that. And maybe we want like another card, like other than like to vary it up, like Redain plus like another card, like maybe Lifebane Zombie. I know a lot of red black decks have been playing Lifebane Zombie, so like maybe just so that way like we don't get into the situation. The thing is, like, Redain is so good on the other side of it, like if you can play it against Rakdos Sacrifice. So maybe not, because like if you play Shield of or Valkmira Protector Shield, the red black Sacrifice matchup is over. They can't kill you. So yeah, probably something like that, honestly. Just call it good. But I am gonna head off, guys. It's getting close to that time anyway. I'm sorry that we couldn't win a match tonight. The council has decided that this is what we play tonight, and therefore I take no responsibility in all of those losses. It was completely not my fault, and whoever recommended I play this deck again, you should be ashamed of yourself. But like tomorrow, I think that, so tomorrow I'm between 2 decks. I'm gonna play either Glimpse Elementals, which has been like really popping off lately in Modern. It's kind of coming to its own. So we'll either play this deck. Let's see. We can either play Glimpse. We can play Grinding Station. Here's the Glimpse list. I think this is Bill Sieve's list. So we'll play Glimpse. And there's another deck that I have been really having a lot of fun with in Legacy. So it's either this tomorrow or we'll play this deck, which I've ran through a couple of leagues now and done all right in. Where is it? It is the Riddler, the Diddler. This deck's pretty gas. This one's been doing pretty well. Killaby has been killing it with this list. I play bad decks. He's been doing very well with it. Just a few of the guys that I talk to. I'm in their Discord, so like we talk about this deck often. And it's been doing a lot. He's also got an updated list, Killaby does, that he got like I think he top 8'd the recent Legacy Challenge or something with it. It looked pretty good. So we'll either play Glimpse Elementals, Grinding Breach, or this tomorrow night, and we'll have some fun and actually win some games because these decks are tried and true and they're good. So the only thing I really fear about this deck, like I love Defense Grid and everything, it just anytime I see a deck with Defense Grid in it, it kind of worries me because I'm like so basically we're playing a deck that's kind of soft to counter Magic if we don't draw Defense Grid. But that being said, we play 4 of them, so we should definitely not have a problem going off. And I was surprised when I played it, like it was really good. So I think I will continue to jam it and see if I can like trophy with it one night or something. Not that trophies are really a proof of anything, but at least it does show like some prowess with the deck or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, really appreciate you guys watching though. Sorry it's been a while since I've streamed. Sometimes we just get in those times where we can't make time for it or whatever. And after this most recent event in Baltimore, I was having some difficulty like mustering up the will to like play Magic because I was just so burnt out. But really appreciate you guys stopping by, and shout out to Marshall once again for those gifted subs. You're awesome, buddy. I appreciate you stopping by. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. I'm gonna send you guys over to Jiglio, a friend of mine. He's playing some Pioneer, I think, or no, he's playing Modern. So send you guys over there. Have a good night, guys. Peace out.
Navigate, man. Okay. Whew. Some sweats tonight. Yeah, definitely a weird game. Danny Bambino, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream, man. Yeah, insane game. Like, really odd game. Player diff. Yeah, we did... I mean, bottoming Titan made no sense. Like, I think they win that game if they just top the Titan. Like, when do you bottom Titan when you have the mana to cast Titan? I don't care if you have a Titan in hand. Like, just have a second Titan. Like, what's bad about having a second Titan? Like, Blood Moon is bad for you anyways. Like, I didn't win a single game in Pioneer, so I have to win for a bit. Well, you should play Modern. I don't think I've ever beaten you in Modern, Mr. Bambino. Last time we played was in a Modern challenge, and you were my only loss in the Swiss, and then you beat me in top 8. So, from my perspective, you are a Modern raid boss. Just play the good format. I wonder if it was a misclick? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It was really, really odd. Maybe they let Blood Moon get in their head, but like... I don't know. Oops, all creatures. I'm keeping this. I mean, I'm not going to fucking 5.